This is a presentation on annotating literature, specifically for character development. Annotating is any action that deliberately interacts with the text to enhance the reader's understanding of, recall of, and reaction to the text. Annotating usually involves highlighting or underlining key pieces of text and making notes in the margins of the text. There are many ways to annotate literature text, but tracing the changes in the main character helps to unwrap the message or theme the writer wants to explore. This message is often the focus of your assigned compositions, so it is important to be able to identify key details to support your discussion in your composition. In literature, the theme is a central idea about the nature of human experience that the author wishes to explore. By focusing on the main character's description, actions, and feelings, one is able to explore the idea about human nature. By annotating in the margins, this character development can be easily seen and the theme outlined. Highlight any words or sentences that describe or reveal something about the main character, whether it's his actions, his feelings, descriptions, interactions with others, or even the words that he speaks. Then, beside the highlighted portion in the margin, provide a descriptive word or words that state what is revealed about the character. Keep it brief and simple, so as not to clutter up the page. Here's an example of how to annotate a text. This is a short story titled 11 by Sandra Sin Norris. It's about a young girl who is turning 11 but doesn't feel her age when she is humiliated at school on her birthday. 11. What they don't understand about birthdays, and what they never tell you, is that when you're 11, you're also 10 and 9 and 8 and 7 and 6 and 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And when you wake up on your 11th birthday, you expect to feel 11, but you don't. You open your eyes and everything's just like yesterday, only it's today. And you don't feel 11 at all. You feel like you're still 10, and you are, underneath the year that makes you 11. So that's the opening paragraph. And 3 things that we want to highlight I've put in red. And let's take a look at what kind of notes you would put up beside those highlighted parts. So here's one. She has high expectations of maturity with her new birthday. She's feeling let down that 11 isn't all that it should have been. And she's feeling rather small about it still, feeling like she's still not mature. Here's another paragraph. Like some days you might say something stupid, and that's the part of you that's still 10. Or maybe some days you might need to sit on your mama's lap because you're scared, and that's the part of you that's 5. And maybe one day when you're all grown up, maybe you will need to cry like if you're 3, and that's okay. That's what I tell Mama when she's sad and needs to cry. Maybe she's feeling 3. And again, we've highlighted 3 portions here. Let's take a look. She's feeling stupid, feeling very immature still. She wants to emotionally revert back to different ages when she's not feeling up to being 11. Okay, another paragraph here. Because the way you grow old is kind of like an onion, or like the rings inside a tree trunk, or like my little wooden dolls that fit one inside the other, each year inside the next one. That's how being 11 years old is. And we've highlighted one portion here. Our age encapsulates all other ages one has passed. So we're keeping it brief, keeping it pretty clean on these pages so that when you read the margins, they're not hard to read. Another paragraph. You don't feel 11, not right away. It takes a few days, weeks even, sometimes even months before you say 11 when they ask you. And you don't feel smart 11. Not until you're almost 12. That's the way it is. And we've highlighted 2 portions here, but just really coming to the idea that she's not feeling smart. At 11, she's growing into being 11. And another paragraph. Only today, I wish I didn't have only 11 years rattling inside me like pennies in a tin Band-Aid box. Today, I wish I was 102 instead of 11. Because if I was 102, I'd have known what to say when Mrs. Price put the red sweater on my desk. I would have known how to tell her it wasn't mine instead of just sitting there with that look on my face and nothing coming out of my mouth. Again, we highlighted 3 things: that she wishes that she's at 102, that she wishes she was more mature to handle Mrs. Price, and that she understands that she couldn't even open her mouth. So she's feeling inadequate and a little bit intimidated. She desires to be more assertive and confident when she is confronted like that. And she's shocked and she's speechless. And see how we're keeping it nice and clean. We're just wanting to get those adjectives in. One of the things that you'll see is when you come to write, those adjectives are great resources for you. And then you find the quotes out so that those will help you as well. "Whose is this?" Mrs. Price says, and she holds the red sweater up in the air for all the class to see. "Whose? It's been sitting in the coat room for a month." "Not mine," says everybody. "Not me." So here I'm not putting anything in because it's just giving me a little bit about the story, but not really too much about the character, except I could potentially do "not me," focus on the idea that she was unable to speak, but we already had her speechless in the last one. And then here's another one. "It has to belong to somebody," Mrs. Price keeps saying, but nobody can remember. "It's an ugly sweater with red plastic buttons and a collar and sleeves all stretched out like you could use it for a jump rope. It's maybe 1,000 years old, and even if it belonged to me, I wouldn't say so." So again, let's see what we put up for an annotation. She's astounded and doesn't want anyone thinking it's hers. "Maybe because I'm skinny, maybe because she doesn't like me, that stupid Sylvia Salvador says I think it belongs to Rachel. An ugly sweater like that, all raggedy and old, but Mrs. Price believes her. Mrs. Price takes the sweater and puts it right on my desk, but when I open my mouth, nothing comes out." Again, we want this annotation. She's astonished, she's unprepared for it, she's embarrassed. We've just gotten through a few paragraphs on it, and you can see we're just annotating quickly about what we're seeing about this character. And then once you finish up annotation, you can chart those annotations and create a table of what descriptive words you're using, and then what are the quotes, and then how it might be connected to a topic that you might be addressing in your writing. By creating a chart of character descriptions, related quotes, and connections to the assigned topic for writing, one is able to see what needs to be included in a composition and how best to address the topic and support it. So here's an example of a topic that could be given. What does the story suggest about the effects of hardship? And I've just given the first couple of quotes that we went through and the annotations, the description that we gave, and then how we would connect this to the topic. Her character description was that she had high expectations of being mature with her new birthday. The connection to the topic is a desire to be able to handle hardship as one grows up. And in the next quote, "Don't feel 11 at all," she's showing that she feels inadequate to the task of handling hardship. So we've started the idea, and now as we progress through the story, we could keep on adding to this little chart here and have a really good understanding of what we would be doing when we began our composition.